Round 4 of the 2005 season is upon us, and we're here in Imola for the San Marino Grand Prix. With the incredible support from the Italian Tifosi, Ferrari will be hoping to impress. However, it has been McLaren who have been as strong as ever and have dominated the entire weekend. The working team have topped 3 of the 4 practice sessions 1-2 and have proved that they are starting to get on top of their reliability issues. Home favourites Ferrari are under pressure to deliver, and Bridgestone have said that they have found some improvement in the tyres. This was shown by Ferrari, who seem much faster over one lap, and their race pace is as strong as ever. Rumour has it in the paddock that Ferrari in qualifying will go aggressive with their cars and under fuel to hope to achieve a higher grid position to have a better chance in the race. Toyota have been quietly slipping down the order in 2005 and are really struggling at Imola. The team say that they have a big upgrade for the next race in Catalonia, which will hopefully boost them back into a consistent top 8 runners. Finally, Sauber, who after a tricky start to 2005 have really got the wind under their sails and are feeling confident of possibly getting both cars into the points in the race, with their practice pace showing that they really are making strides to improve. But nonetheless, let's move into qualifying and let's see how the cars will line up for the San Marino Grand Prix.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tom. Welcome back to a brand new video, and this is episode number 4 of Schumacher Returns, and we're here for Imola, the San Marino Grand Prix, and one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, and one that I've been itching to get my hands on because I couldn't wait to get onto this track, because this is one of the tracks that isn't in F1 no more. So it's one of the classic tracks and one of the all-time favourites, and one that I generally really enjoy driving in. And nevertheless, here we are in qualifying as per usual, as you can see, and Michael Schumacher is currently gearing up for his one and only lap as we speak. And right, as you can see, Montoya has got pole position, so the championship leader has got the job done. Meanwhile, we're going to try and focus on this lap here, and Michael Schumacher so far is making his way into this little left right chicane here. I think it's called Villeneuve, I believe, as he actually gets a really nice run through there as he then makes his way into Tosa hairpin. And a really tricky corner there, so if you brake too late and you go a bit too aggressive on the brakes, the rear end does like to step out on you, so you've got to be very careful there as you now power through the gears up the massive hill, and you approach Piratella here down to 3rd gear on the apex. Take it nice and easy, not to run out too wide because the curb on the outside is very slippery, and you can probably end up in the wall on the right hand side there as we make our way down into Acqua Minerale, one of the best corners on the track, a double apex right hander, and you've got to really try not to lock up and slow it down for the apex as you then once again get back on the power up the hill into the Variante Alta, one of the best corners on the track. Also a very quick right left chicane, you've got to try and flick it over the curbs without losing control of the car, and then just try to take it nice and easy on the power, get the traction control up, and just take it nice and easy as you make your way down to the hill into the reverse Ravazza here, which is a very tricky braking zone because it's downhill. You can easily lock up. You want to make sure that you set yourself up nicely for the second Ravazza, and you want to make sure that the exit is absolutely flawless as you make your way into the final chicane now, which is a left right little flick across before the finish line as we now make our way into the chicane. There we go, just over the curbs, not too much there, and then try to just take it easy on that curb on the exit. Make sure not to get a bit too much throttle, otherwise you can spin out as Michael comes across the line, and he goes P3, only 3/10 off of Montoya's lap time. So a fantastic lap there from Michael Schumacher, and the Tifosi will be absolutely ecstatic with that lap. And as you can see, looking at the top 10, you can see that both McLaren's got a 1-2, and then Michael managed to split a McLaren and a Renault top 4, with both of the Renaults getting 4th and 5th place, with Nick Hartfield in 6th there, the man who's 2nd in the championship. Then Takuma Sato in 7th, Ralf Schumacher in 8th, and then Michael's teammate Rubens Barrichello in 9th, and then Felipe Massa rounding out the top 10 for Sauber. But that has been qualifying, and now we're going to jump into the race. So here we are then, it is race day, and we are gearing up for the race here at San Marino. I personally could not wait to get underway, and I'm sure that the 20 drivers on the grid can't either as we gear up to the 5 red lights, or 4 red lights in this case on R Factor. But here we go, then the lights are coming on, and the lights will go out right about now, and now Michael Schumacher gets underway for the San Marino Grand Prix. That's actually a pretty poor start, and he's going to get mugged off the line straight away here by a couple of cars on the right hand side, so he's got to take it nice and easy into the first chicane into Tamburello. Just take it nice and easy, make sure there's no contact there with Fernando Alonso as he makes his way now through on the exit of Tamburello. Now going to try and hunt down both of the McLarens, who right now have an absolute stormer of a start, and Raikkonen's actually going to attack Montoya later on that lap into Acqua Minerale. And can he make the move stick? No, he can't. Actually, Montoya manages to hang it around the outside, and Michael Schumacher's going to capitalise on that by overtaking Kimi Raikkonen on the exit of the corner there, and being very sneaky and very optimistic, and just timing it to absolute perfection and getting the move done. And he's now on the back of Montoya, who is the race leader and championship leader also. So a big result here is going to be needed after, especially Michael had a pretty poor race last time out in Bahrain. And there we go then, as you can see, Montoya was a little bit wide, and Michael can try and slow around the outside, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for him, and he's got to stay behind him for the time being as we go go on to the end of lap number 2, onto the start of lap number 3, and Schumacher actually runs a little bit onto the curb there, and he's actually got onto that white stuff on the left hand side there, which seems to slow you down. It's really bumpy, and that's allowed Raikkonen to get straight back past, and also Heifeld's trying to have a look up the inside of Michael Schumacher here, but it's no use, and Michael manages to hang around the outside, and there he goes around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen at Tamburello. A fantastic move there from Schumi, and really nice overtake there, but Kimi is coming back at him. He's actually got past him now into the next corner, and also Heifeld's trying to come back at him, having a look up the inside, but Michael's going to try and squeeze him out and just hold him off for now, and it's been a fantastic race so far. All action so far, as you can see, the McLarens are really providing a bit of an entertaining race. As now we go on the exit of Tosa, and skipping later on this race, Michael's going to try and overtake Kimi Raikkonen as we go into the Variante Alta, taking it nice and easy, making sure, like I said in qualifying, that you don't want to spin the car, you want to take it nice and easy, nice and patient, and here we go then. Now Schumacher's got a slipstream on Kimi Raikkonen's going to pull to the inside and pass him way before the first Ravazza, and he gets himself back up into P2, and they can try and hunt down Montoya, but unfortunately that is not the case, as Kimi has managed to stay with Michael Schumacher, and later on the end of number 5, Kimi's going to have a look up the inside of the final chicane. Schumacher manages to outbrake him, but Kimi pulls off a lovely little switchback on him as they go side by side now down the pit straight, down just past the pit lane, across the finish line, and unfortunately for Kimi, turns out the Ferraris had some really good straight line speed this weekend, and they were the fastest cars in the speed trap by an absolute mile, and that actually helped the Ferraris quite a lot, especially in the race, to pull off some overtakes. And also in practice, you can see they were doing really some good work in terms of practicing some overtakes and trying to pass cars purposefully to try and improve their overtaking. As we now skip later on, and Marcos lost the rear end on the exit of Tamburello, and he goes straight into the wall there on lap 8, into the wall, and it's actually pretty hefty hit. If you look at the top right of the screen, he's got some damage on the front right and also the rear and the right rear parts of the car. As you can see, Marco is actually crabbing, so he's got some really serious damage here, and he's really struggling to get back to the pit lane. And as you can see, Marco is all over the place as he loses the rear end and crashes into the Red Bull of Christian Clean. And right now, it is looking like this race has gone from bad to worse, and if Marco can somehow nurse the car back to the pits, which is going to be a struggle by itself, then he's going to have to try and survive, as there's been a massive crash up ahead of us here, and it's all kicking off at San Marino, and eventually, after another spin at Ravazza, Marco does get it back to the pit lane, and he comes in to serve his one and only pit stop, even though that wasn't even in the plans, because these races there aren't no pit stops, but Marco has to serve his pit stop nevertheless, and it's going to be quite a long one here, and overall it's a pretty disappointing crash. I think Schumacher would have liked to have put on a show for the Tifosi here, but with only pretty much 11 laps to go, it's looking quite unlikely that Michael will get any sort of points at all. So it's pretty much about pride at this point. If you look at the minimap in the bottom left, you can see how far behind Michael is. He's like half a track behind. So what the team have done, they've actually put a bit of fuel into Michael's car, and he's actually cranked up the engine to give it the full beans as fast as it can go, and to hope to put some sort of show on for the fans and just try and provide a spectacle, as Michael overtakes Mark Webber, who's down in last place, who's also made a pit stop, and gets himself off from the last spot into 19th. And as I was saying, Michael's going to try and provide a spectacle for the fans and do something now, but because he pushed so hard on setting fastest laps of the race, Michael spins out once again at Ravazza, and it really has not been Michael's day. He really has struggled, and I think the team will be quite disappointed, and so will Schumi himself, and also the Tifosi. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if Barrichello can put in a shift, then that will salvage some pride for Ferrari. But nevertheless, Michael gets past Mark Webber once again into the first Ravazza on lap 16, and only with a few laps left to go, we're going to have to wait and see who Michael could possibly overtake. There's not many cars up for grabs here, and points are pretty much out of the equation now, so like I said, it's all about pride at this point, and Schumi is right on the back of Christian Albers, who's in the Minardi, and now it's a question of can he pass him before Tamburello. And as you see, Michael's cranking the engine up to number 10, the fastest engine boost he can go, just to fly past the Minardi, and he does so with absolute ease, and he gets himself up in the P18, and he's now on the back of his teammate Patrick Friesacker, and going out the exit Aqua Minerali into the Variante Alta, once again with the engine on full beans, cranked up to the max. He gets past Friesacker way before the Variante Alta chicane, and he's got himself now up in the P17, and he's now on the back of Thiago Montero. 2 laps to go. Can he possibly pull off any more overtakes? Says his teammate just off the road there, so there's possibly another 2 cars to overtake here, as Michael goes for a lovely little cheeky dive bomb up the inside of Aqua Minerali there. Montero leaving the door completely open there for the 7 times world champion to attack and take that position, and skipping now later on to the last lap, of the race, onto the start of the last lap of the race. Schumi is in the back of Narain Kartikainen, and as you see, he's got the engine cranked up. But look at the speed Michael has on that Jordan. It is absolutely unbelievable. The Ferrari engine versus the Toyota engine, it is no match there, and Michael came out top on that one. But unfortunately, that was all there was for the rest of the race. Michael was really fast, and one more lap and he could have at least caught Christian Clean, who's right there ahead of him. But overall, it's been a disappointing race, and Michael is going to come across the line for a very disappointing P15 and setting the fastest lap in the process. But looking at the final race results, and it's actually a McLaren 1-2, so they managed to stick with that for the entire race. Montoya once again taking the race win, and Nick Heidfeld in third place there, and then both of the Renaults in fourth and fifth, so exact same places as starting positions. However, Rubens Barrichello actually putting a bit of a show, taking P6 there for the other Ferrari, and then it's Ralf Schumacher, Takuma Sato, Jenson Button, and Jarno Trulli rounding out the rest of the top 10. So a pretty good result there from Barrichello, just salvaging some pride for the red cars. And looking at the Drivers' Championship, as you can see, Montoya and Heidfeld extend their lead over Michael Schumacher, and Michael's actually equal on points with Takuma Sato now, and Fisichella and Alonso get themselves a couple of good points to move themselves up to 5th and 6th in the standings, and also Raikkonen there getting himself into the top half of the table this season for the first time, and then Webber drops down to the second half of the table because of the mistake he had today, and also Barrichello gets his first points of the season, so good result for him there. And looking at the second half of the table, as you can see, McLaren are absolutely dominating the constructors, and Ferrari away down in 5th place, so it's a lot of work for the red cars to do, and a lot of recovering to do over the rest of the season, and hopefully Barrichello's result is the start of an upwards progression for both of the Ferraris. But nevertheless, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you have, then please do smash that like button down below. Let me know that you're enjoying the series, and I really do appreciate the support, guys. And if we could hit 80 likes on this, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And also, if you have missed any of the previous episodes, there's a link down below in the description to the playlist to go check out for yourselves. But nevertheless, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed the video. I've been Thomas MHD, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. Goodbye.